Are you ready?
Hold on a minute. I haven't found my seat yet. Oh, okay.
Welcome to this week's Close Enough Podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Jay. You got a drink for us today, Mike?
Well, today I went for the biggest cross-dressing drink I could think of. And I went and looked everywhere for Zima.
Zima?
I couldn't find a Zima.
I would have been rightly impressed had you come up with a Zima.
Me too. You ever put one with the Jolly Rancher in the bottom and, try to make Jolly Rancher Zima?
That's horrible.
Yeah, I have no idea. Just heard about it, I mean.
You know, my first apartment, when I moved into it, there was a Zima in the fridge. And when I moved out of it, there was a Zima in the fridge. So in lieu of Zima, did you find something?
I did.
What did you get?
Apple Teeny.
That's suitably gender blurred.
Gender bro. I haven't even started drinking this shit yet. Okay. Gender blurred. So if you want a nice fruity, frilly drink there, real simple. Just 2 ounces of Smirnoff green apple vodka and 1 ounce of sour apple pucker schnapps. Mix it together and have yourself a sweet apple time.
Pinkies out.
Always pinkies out. Well, Jay, what are you thinking about this week?
Well, Mike, I'm thinking about what everybody's thinking about. The attacks in Paris, the Charlie Hebdo attacks. Have you heard about these?
Well, I haven't been up to date with the news with my work schedule.
No, that's fine. I'll give you just the Cliff's Notes version of it then. Last Wednesday, 2 Muslim extremists went into the offices of Charlie Hebdo, a French satirical magazine, similar to The Onion, only a little racier.
First thing, I didn't know that there was something racier than The Onion.
Oh, certainly. The Onion is actually quite tame in comparison to Charlie Hebdo, which is known for being very provocative and very outspoken and targeting all faiths, not just Islam. But the Islamists seem to take it a little bit more personally.
You know, it's part of a language barrier. They don't understand the concept of sarcasm and a joke, obviously, if they're going to these lengths to...
Well, yes, of course, but it's not so much of a language barrier as it is a cultural barrier, really spurred on by their religion, and it's sad to say not just an Islamic problem. You know, you find this across all faiths.
No, I mean, you can go with... I'm just going to pull out Christianity. They like to say they're a nonviolent religion either. They're all about peace and love, but then look at, a few years back, the KKK did everything for Jesus and...
Yeah, kind of.
Bombing abortion clinics. That's
bombing abortion clinics, yes. Those are Christian terrorists, and they're fucking scum as well. But the level of violence that you're seeing from the Islamic world nowadays over ideas, Christianity hasn't really been pushing this sort of agenda for like 400 years. They've been dragged kicking and screaming into the modern age by, the secular world. But, back in the day, the Christians were like this too.
The Crusades was because of Christianity. But then they never attacked
They did. They did this stuff. They burned people for having ideas they didn't like. But the biggest difference really had been the level of technology. 400 years ago, during the time of the Crusades, you had cavalry and swords. I mean, we live in the age of assault weapons and biological weapons, and the same dangerous ideology that Christianity got dragged away from, for the most part, is now in the hands of people with more destructive power.
I agree with that.
So, the Charlie Hebdo offices were attacked, and 12 people were killed. Another 4 killed in a hostage situation, a related hostage situation days later at a kosher grocery in Paris as well. So that's 16 people, killed.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Over somebody's offense at their imaginary friend. Kinda bullshit. But the overwhelming reaction to this has been again, I don't speak French, the Jouis Charlie campaign, I Am Charlie. The overwhelming support from many news organizations, one of which, a German newspaper, was also firebombed for posting the Charlie Hebdo cover. They printed it, and they were firebombed a couple days ago.
I didn't know that either.
I don't think there were any injuries.
Okay.
For the most part, the secular world has stood up and said, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck all of you and your stupid fucking jihadist ass. Fuck you. And that's sort of the opinion I've been taking. Eventually, if enough of us stand up and say, fuck you, flip them the bird, and draw a picture of their little friend, they can't kill us all. And maybe they'll just have to shut up and go away.
That sounds like a good conclusion to the story.
And it would be. It would be a great conclusion to the story if that's how it worked. But it's not, because there's always got to be that guy. And in this case, it's the Catholic Church's own smiling PR moron, Pope Francis, has to open his fucking yap on his way to the Philippines to do whatever the fuck he does with his stupid little hat. He said that freedom of speech and expression are fundamental human rights. However, there has to be limits to offending and ridiculing the faiths and beliefs of others. He goes on to say, referring to Alberto Gaspari, I guess, who's happened to be the guy standing next to when he was saying this. He says, if my good friend Dr. Gaspari says a curse word against my mother, he can expect a punch, he said, throwing a mock punch in his direction. It's normal. You cannot provoke. You cannot insult the faith of others. You cannot make fun of the faith of others. Or what? You gonna go back to burning people at the fucking stake? You know what? You fucking sicken me. You all fucking sicken me.
Solve violence with violence, I always say. I mean...
Yeah, sure sounds like that's what he's saying.
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah, obviously. What it comes down to is this. You all believe that your faith is so fucking strong that it can move mountains? It should be strong enough to stand up to a little fucking criticism.
This week's Close Enough podcast is brought to you by Clockwork Garage, clocks, keychains, and more, made from recycled auto parts. Visit clockworkgarage.com.
It's that time again.
What time is it?
It's looking like about 8:05.
Shit.
You know what happens at 8:05 in 30 seconds.
You cut my nails?
So if anybody's interested in co-hosting a podcast with me, send your resumes to closenoughradio@gmail.com. Mike, you're fired.
I didn't know I had a job.
In the meantime, I need you to stick around for this movie review.
All right, movie review time. Exciting times of the week. Do you like movie review time, Jay?
No, not particularly, no.
Why not?
I'm not a big fan of most things.
Most things? But you like movies?
Yeah.
So you just don't like reviewing movies?
No, not particularly.
You do a good job at it, though.
Well, thank you, Mike. I'm glad you noticed. I'm glad somebody notices. You want to launch us into this one?
Not really.
That's good, I suppose. Well, this week we watched the film Kinky Boots. Kinky Boots. Well, we sat down, we watched it. I watched it with an open mind. Wasn't really sure what to get. Mike was well and truly decided that this was going to be a transvestite film.
No, I said drag queens.
Drag queens, transvestites. There's not a huge difference.
And I was right.
Yes, you were right. I'm actually really, really pissed off that you were right.
I was extremely excited that I was right on that one.
It chaps my ass, I gotta say.
I was kind of, as soon as I found out it was drag queens, I was like, yes!
Because you were right or because you love drag queens?
A little bit of both. Drag queens are fun.
They can be, I'll give you that. So the film Kinky Boots tells the story of a man who inherits a shoe factory that's going under. And in a desperate bid to save the factory, begins creating kinky boots for drag queens. Tell us what you thought of the film, Mike.
I enjoyed the film. I thought it was an interesting fact, the way that he looked at it when he started making the boots. He was like, well, this is girls' shoes to support a man. Not, most of the time drag queens are going out there buying women's shoes, and that's how he noticed the problem. They're breaking, they're uncomfortable, they're not made for men's feet or legs. That was just an interesting aspect, a way to look at it.
So he's looking at it as an engineering challenge?
Yeah. The rest of the movie, it had some, humor in it with the whole thing with the drag queen and Nick Frost, and that was some good parts. And excuse me, are you a man? Yes. Okay. Like, that was a great part of the movie. That just made me laugh. Little things like that. The story itself, kind of predictable in a sense. You could sit here and just go, well, this is going to happen next. He's going to try this. But it didn't ruin the movie for me, this.
I've got to agree with you, Mike. I really enjoyed the film. I pretty much giggled the entire way through it. Wasn't a knee slapper. I wasn't cackling, but I was amused almost continuously through it. I will say, like you said, it was very formulaic. But I don't think that hurt it. I think it was, you sat down and you're like, okay, I'm all right with this. But I think the film had one really bright, shiny part to it.
What's
The
that?
kinky boots. I think it was a really standout performance from, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna fuck this up, Chiwetel Ejiofor.
I don't think I've ever even heard that name before.
Oh, he's I'm obviously talking about Lola. He was in quite a few films. 12 Years a Slave, Amistad,
No,
Children of Men. If you've seen Children of Men, it was fan-fucking-tastic.
I have
And
not.
Serenity.
Ooh, yes.
He was the operative.
Serenity. I love Serenity, of course. Okay, yeah, he was.
I
I should have picked that one up whenever he finally took the wig off, started talking normal. That was
When he was Simon.
when he started talking as Simon as opposed to Lola. That was a phenomenal performance, by the way.
He really held the film together. Otherwise, to me, it would have been another full Monty.
Never saw that either.
Well, it's kind of like this one without Chiwetel Ejiofor.
So it's about drag queens?
No, not at all. It's actually about, I think it's 5 or 6 mill workers from the Midlands who lose their jobs and go off and form a Chippendale style. It's the same kind of, air quotes, raunchy British comedy. A very similar feel to this one.
Yeah, but no drag queens. That's kind
No
of upsetting.
drag queens. It was male strippers.
Male strippers. Yeah, that doesn't intrigue me as much.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like 20 years ago the film came out. But, without the drag queens, specifically without
Lola?
Lola's performance, we're just going to do that. Amazing actor. Name, not so much. He really held the film together for me.
I agree completely on that. He was like the main focus of everything, and he kind of held the bond together between the different actors and actresses throughout the rest of the film. He formed and changed relationships between people.
What did you think of Frost in this one?
A little bit of an ass, but it was pretty funny to see him not be... Wait, no, never mind. He was a complete dumbass. He's always a dumbass. I love it, though.
Yeah, everybody always gives him crap, but in here's where we start talking about other movies. Remember Hot Fuzz?
Of course.
He's actually a fantastic police officer in Hot Fuzz. Because he goes off and he fucks up and he does something. And Angel says, no, we do this. And if you notice from that point on in the film, he's right. He really is like the best cop ever. He says, oh, there's been an accident. We don't call it an accident. We call it a collision. He never calls it an accident again in the film.
Yeah, you're right.
So he really is like the best little student there. But yeah, seeing him in this film as a complete and total twat at the beginning was a bit of a shock to me. It was weird to see him that way.
That didn't throw me off too much. I mean, think about, Shaun of the Dead. He was kind of the freeloading asshole roommate.
Yeah, but he wasn't an asshole. He was a putz.
A putz. Okay, that's a better way to put it than asshole, yeah.
He wasn't outright mean.
I'm sorry, Sean.
No, I'm sorry.
Anyways, back to the movie. So what did you think about Helmet Hair?
Lime Cat?
Lime Cat, sure, yeah.
I was watching the film and I looked at her and I kind of imagined her as a generic actress with her face being projected onto the front of a motorcycle helmet. It's mean to just make fun of somebody's appearance, but it distracted me from the film. It was like, why on earth are you with her?
It really looked like a bad wig. I mean, it was... I don't know if her hair is actually like that. If it is, I don't know.
I'm not certain who that was.
I really hope that's not the real haircut, though. That was... See, all I could think of was Dumb and Dumber, where they put the bowl on his head and they cut right around the bowl. Except hers was a little odd-shaped.
Gemma Roper. Yeah, she hasn't been in anything of note.
Well, she was kind of a bitch.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to pin that on the actress.
No, that was the role that she played.
I
guess you could say bitch hair for a bitch.
Oh, there's that one part where she's like, oh, there comes a time when a woman needs to just buckle up and break out the visa and take matters into her own hands. Really? Break out the visa. Oh, there's a future with her, which, I gotta say, like you said before, and I'm agreeing with you, the movie was very formulaic. You got the one part where that other guy knocks on the window, and you're like, oh, that's not Charlie. Okay, so the fiance's cheating on him with that other guy, and he's gonna end up with the really cute girl at the factory.
Yeah, I kind of saw that coming from the beginning.
Oh, yeah. There were no surprises in this film.
But again, I'm okay with that with this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a heartwarming film, but no surprises.
So, quick question then, if you know this, I don't know. This was based off of true events.
Mhm.
Do we know, is this factories that it's based off of, are they still around?
Yes.
They are. And it is actually called Kinky Boots?
Yes. Kinky Boots is an actual factory. This is a true story as well. This is based on a true story. So that gave it some fun, and Lola's performance was amazing. Really held the film together for me. Plus, watching Lauren walk around and just thinking,
Lauren was the factory girl. She was a cutie pie. Yeah. English accent.
Everybody in the film had an English accent.
It was nice.
Yes, it was. I would have put money on it that she was Irish, though.
Maybe.
That she's not. I looked it up.
The skin and the hair.
Yeah, the skin, the hair. Yeah, I looked it up. She's English, and she doesn't have any nudes on the internet.
Is that a sad, sad day?
No, it's probably good that she doesn't have nudes on the internet, because now I can view her as a person. But, yeah. I mean, all in all, very pleased with the film. Happy it was suggested. Would watch again.
Yeah, I would too. So, rating?
Ooh, burgundy. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate it burgundy. Red.
Sex.
I'm gonna go 8.
8?
I'm gonna call it an 8, because I sat down, watched it, I liked it, no regrets. And I can't say that about most of the drag queen films I've watched.
Have you seen a lot of drag queen films?
Rocky Horror.
That's it?
Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Never saw that one.
Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
I don't think that was supposed to be a drag queen movie.
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Ooh, didn't think about that one. Okay.
I'm out.
You're out, that's it?
Boondock Saints.
A little bit. Little bit.
Stretching the definition a bit. So I threw an 8 at it. What do you got?
I agree with... Sat down, watched it, liked it. I'll probably watch it again at some point in the future.
Can I guess? 7 7/8.
I was
7 9/64.
I was just gonna go with 7. I'm trying to get away from the little.
You're gonna try the whole numbers this week.
This week, at least. I can't promise every week, but this week, yes.
So a 7 and an 8.
7 and an 8.
All right. Well, I guess it's time to choose one for next week. Let's get the trash can over here. Take ourselves a look and see what we find here. Troll Hunter.
Troll Hunter. I've heard good things.
Well, let's hope it lives up to that. I've not seen it. I've not really heard anything about it. So we're going to go to Netflix. We're going to load up Troll Hunter, and we're going to watch it. See you here next week. See what we think of Troll Hunter.
Well, speaking of drag queen movies,
Yeah, I know what's coming.
the quiz time.
It's quiz time.
Yeah, I've got a little... Since you're actually one quiz ahead of me, I've come up with a good drag queen...
How am I one quiz ahead of you?
Well, the one week we didn't have a quiz, and then we went back to you.
We did the quiz. It just didn't get aired. I aced it, by the way. I got 14 of 10 correct.
That is way off. But anyways, you have a chance on this quiz to get 13 points out of 10.
Ooh, 13 points out of 10.
Yes, you
A
do.
moment ago, he was giving me crap about getting 14 points out of 10. He's like, that's not possible.
Well, it's not possible because you did not do that.
13 points out of 10.
You may.
Okay, number 1, Rocky Horror. Number 2, Rocky Horror. Number 3, Rocky Horror.
Can I at least continue with this quiz?
Number 4, Tim Curry.
Are you just making your own quiz and then going to say you won?
Yes. It's just a lot easier that way.
Well, that's not what's going to happen. Because if that was the case, I would have done that the other day.
Yeah, but you didn't think of it.
Hell, I would have done that a long time ago.
All right, well, let's see what you've got for me then.
Especially with your quiz about Europa Report and space stuff that I don't...
That was all easy stuff.
Yeah.
There was nothing difficult about that.
That's my notes. Don't be looking at my notes.
I can't read your writing anyway.
This week's quiz is called Hairspray.
The John Waters movie?
Oh, fuck. That's right. This week's quiz is shit Jay doesn't know about drag queens. Yeah,
Well, let's see.
that works. That's it. Question 1. I made this easy for you. As easy as I could.
Well, you know what happened last time I made something easy for you? You got fucking 8 of them.
There you go. First question. What is it called when a queen does a show? If you don't give me an answer, you're going to smack yourself as soon as you realize the answer to this one. This is like the easiest question on here.
Performing?
A drag show.
That is not a very well written question.
I got it from another quiz, all right? So don't put that one on me.
Well, you write them and tell them that's not a very good question. Because when a queen does a drag show, or when a queen does a show, she's performing.
Yes, but what is the show called?
That would have been the question you should have asked me.
Okay, what is the show called when a queen does a show?
It's a drag show.
All right, you still don't get the point.
Ugh, fuck you.
Number 2.
Are these all going to be as shoddily written as that one?
I hope not.
Okay. I'm getting a yes from the technicians over here.
She's read like 3 questions out of 10. She doesn't know shit.
Number 2.
Can I continue here? What 2 big name actors starred in Tu Wong Fu Thanks for Nothing?
Oh, Alex's cousin. The fuck is his name? Oh, it was John Leguizamo?
He was.
And Alex's cousin, whose name is Blade. Wesley Snipes.
There you go. That's 2 of the 3.
Okay.
I just wanted 2 answers.
John Goodman?
Patrick Swayze.
It would have been so much better if it was John Goodman.
I agree. I like John Goodman better. But it was Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes, and John Leguizamo were your 3 stars. I just wanted 2 answers. You got 2 of the 3. Perfect.
Excellent.
Now, question 3. Who played Edna Turnbald in the new version of Hairspray?
John Travolta.
Correct. Question 4. What is getting painted?
Getting all your makeup done?
Correct. All right, I made these a little too easy. When doing the time warp, it's just a jump to the left and then a step to the finish the sentence.
All right, I'll bite. The right?
Yeah, we got it. Just a step to the right. Put your hands on your hips.
Was that supposed
Bring
to
your
trick me up?
knees in tight. I just want to see if you knew that one.
There's no way it can be that easy.
Yeah, no, that's it. Question 6. Who recently starred as Hedwig and the Angry Itch?
Can you word it better before I try to answer it?
Okay. What famous actor recently starred as Hedwig in the Hedwig and the Angry Itch? No searching.
I have absolutely no idea. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say Johnny Depp.
Wrong. That is Neil Patrick Harris.
Was this in a film or was this on fucking...
Broadway. But it was well known. I mean, he...
Obviously not.
Okay.
I just figured Johnny Depp's in fucking everything else.
He's working on it, yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to remake a lot of things, I think. Question 7. What was the name of Dr. Frankenfurter's creation on Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Wasn't that Rocky?
That was Rocky, correct. What famous musician played Eddie, the biker prisoner of Dr. Frankenfurter in Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Tri-Tip. No, that's not a very good name. How about Meatloaf?
There you go, Meatloaf. We got it.
Yes, I've seen Rocky Horror. This is what this quiz is letting everybody know. Told you they would all be about Rocky Horror.
It's not all about Rocky Horror. What, 3 questions?
What do you got?
Question 9. What band had a hit song, Lola, about a transvestite named Lola in 1970?
The Kinks.
There you go. The Kinks. And question 10. Harris Milstead, also known as Divine, starred in John Waters films, died in 1988. Can you name 3 John Waters films with Divine?
No.
Can you name any?
No.
Can you name any John Waters films?
Besides Hairspray? No. Was he in?
Yeah. He was the original Miss Turnbald.
I couldn't even begin to tell you. No, I've got nothing.
Nothing?
No.
All right. The other 2 answers that I was looking for would have been Pink Flamingo, which
I've heard of it.
I thought we had a discussion about that at some point.
We may have, but I don't know names of things.
And Female Trouble were the 3 most famous that Divine has done. That brings us to a total out of a possible 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 points. Not too bad.
So we're, as a whole, getting better. Scores are getting higher.
Or the questions just getting easier.
I like it my way.
That you're getting better.
That's right, that we're getting better at this. So next week, we'll get you some harder questions. Or really easy questions delivered in Norwegian.
Well, I'm not going to know any of that.
Well, that would be hard then, wouldn't it?
That'd be ridiculous.
So I guess I've surprised myself with what I know about drag queens. Why don't you surprise me with what you know about the world?
Very little. But I do have a few stories that I've discovered this week that might tickle your fancy.
What's happened?
Well, story number 1 I've got is 69 people died after drinking beer contaminated with crocodile bile in Mozambique.
I don't even have anything to say about that. How does one crocodile bile?
It was found in the this home brew that has now reportedly killed 69 people.
Genius.
I mean, everybody likes beer, except you.
Microbrews.
They are getting big.
No, it was a terrible, terrible, terrible joke, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
All right, next story I've got for the week. A man fired after not turning up to work for 24 years.
I like this guy already.
Apparently, this man took an earned leave in December 1990. 2 years later, the company launched an inquiry against him. It took them 15 years to bring the charges against him, and then another 7 before they were finally able to fire him.
What company was this? I want to send my resume.
I can't find the company name. I know it's not America, though.
It'd probably take me like 14 years to get hired, though.
All right, next up I've got... Oh, man, I love this story. Hundreds of Greek Orthodox mourners at a funeral were served biscuits sprinkled with cocaine.
What, did they think it was powdered sugar?
Yes, that's exactly what they thought it was. They were at the funeral, and a particular pastry company that's not been named was catering the event. It turns out that somebody that works there was actually part of a drug ring.
Shady Town
and was smuggling cocaine through this recipe of these cookies and purposefully put the cocaine on it instead of the powdered sugar, but sent the wrong ones to the wrong place. Please, sir.
That would be the best funeral ever.
Yeah, apparently a bunch of people ate them, and people started acting kind of weird, and it took a little bit, and they were trying to figure out what was going on. Somebody called the cops because they thought everybody was just freaking out. Turns out they it was cocaine on the biscuits. I think that would be fantastic.
Lovely. I mean, I've done my share of drugs, but generally speaking, I've been aware that I was doing the drugs.
Yeah.
Surprise drugs are never fun.
I've got surprise drug stories, but we'll stay away from that.
I've got one.
Okay.
And we'll stay away from that.
All right, next up I've got mom stabs son over lying about eating pork chops. Apparently this Dayton, Ohio mom had made pork chops and saved them in the fridge, and apparently the next day the mom had gone to the fridge, she had been drinking that day, and found that 3 of the pork chops were eaten. When she confronted the son said no. She started throwing knives at him.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, just throwing knives at the son there.
I told you not to eat the pork chops!
When he went to the police or the hospital, the police found a knife with his blood on it in the sink, and yeah, so mom has been arrested. All right. Oh,
lovely, lovely bunch of people.
And I saved this one for last. I've got a driver's choice of drink is bourbon vanilla extract.
Didn't you do that on the show once?
No.
Maybe next week.
Yes. Then that to me is not the best part of the story.
All right, well.
The story gets better. A woman was found passed out behind the wheel of her car while it was still running in a parking lot. Decided to call. Somebody found her. They called the cops. The cops showed up, and she was unable to recall her destination. The police found a 9-ounce bottle of vanilla extract in her car, which is apparently 35% alcohol. And they asked her how much she drank. She said all of it. During the sobriety test, she apparently started line dancing.
Oh, brilliant.
So we've got a line dancing vanilla extract drinking drunk who has also pissed herself.
I'm not as think as you drunk I am? Is that this kind of situation here?
Yeah, I don't know,
I'm just trying to do the math on this one. 9 ounces at 35%.
That isn't going to do shit to me.
Oh, that's a shot.
Yeah, and that's...
How many bottles did they not find?
That's just 9 ounces, 35%. I mean, that's... Well, to be fair, a shot's about 2 ounces typically.
Okay, so that's a shot.
Vanilla extract, man. I mean, I'm just thinking even the smell of it. Have you ever been around vanilla extract?
Yes, I have.
That sounds... It's bitter. It's extremely bitter.
See, I'm just trying to think about how much alcohol you would need to get me to line dance.
Oh, well, more than that.
It's far more than it would take to get me to piss myself.
Yeah, I'd have to be...
I have pictures. I have pictures of you so drunk you can't walk. And here's that picture. Ding! So is that all for this week?
I believe that's all for this week.
This week's episode of Close Enough Radio Podcast is brought to you by A Clockwork Garage. www.aclockworkgarage.com. Our audio technician is Janice Hammerstein. We would like to hear from you. Send your comments, questions, concerns, or music and movie suggestions to closeenoughradio@gmail.com or visit our Facebook fan page at Close Enough Radio. Now back to Mike for this week's local band.
This week's local band is an experimental punk rock roots band from Lake Worth, Florida. They are Viva La Vox with Bloodstains and Burn Holes.
What went wrong, son? Something we done. Got to the burn holes. Oh, you. Hazy is hazy, I must be crazy. Everything is alright. Like that to catch sacred silence through the violence. Looking for you. Nothing to bad time. He bites, piles in my basement, comes out when he wants to fight. Crash, crumble, and fall, I love them all. My little brown friends look like they're running straight at the walls. Into the air, that's where I stay. They help me sleep. And when they're done, they'll be the ones who slay the beast. Yes, when they're done, they'll be the ones who come out of the shadows. Their ancient arrows twisted and tragic, mumbling magic. Tonight I'm a come inside towns. Someone, get me out of this heat. Scouts and sickness, they drug places. Blood to the burn holes, never came cheap. These blood to the burn holes, never come cheap. These blood to the burn holes, never came cheap. They never came cheap. They never came cheap. Cheap, 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 cheap. These blood stains and burn holes never came cheap. No, they never came cheap, and they never came slow.